welcome to our Spotlight Next TV with Wired Women. My guest today is Audra. I'm going to let her introduce herself in a minute. But first, let me say hello and thank you for joining our virtual circle where we have conversations with Wired Women, the term that we coined for trend-setting women who have successfully run a business or are starting to run a business for the last 3 years. In the broadcast, I will start to explore the mindset of women who are breaking barriers as thought leaders. We want to discover these exceptional women, business leaders, how they organize their inner lives and thrive in the professional sphere. So a big round of applause as we welcome Audra. Who is Audra?
Hello, darling. Lovely to see you. That was a very nice introduction. And it just struck me as you was talking about Wired Women. Well, I'm from Livewire. So that was quite a nice fitting lead in. So I'm Audra Lamoon. I'm the Chief Happiness Officer for Livewire. And basically what we do is we literally help our clients deliver amazing customer service and leadership and communications. So we work a lot in the hospitality and banking and social and media and sporting world. So wherever there's people, property and service, Livewire person can be anywhere in there, making sure that the brand and culture has lived right the way through to the people, you know, the boots on the ground, the people that are serving the public, basically. So it's quite interesting. But me as a person, I'm actually a failed hostess. I was a miserable stewardess that was terrible at flying, couldn't stand the bloody passengers for a start. And I thought, what's all this hospitality nonsense about? Can't they get their own drinks and just sit down until we get to the other side? And I just was the worst person ever. And I learned all the tricks of the trade, what not to do. And then the CEO finally at one of my companies said, you need to go away and really look into this hospitality malarkey because there's something there and you have got something, but I don't know what it is.
Amazing.
Anyway, I went off to America to learn a lot actually, and then come back and the rest is history.
Wow, thank you for that. So what is your authentic story, Audra? What is it that makes you different? What makes you different from an ordinary woman? And why would we say that you challenge the status quo? Can you?
I'm a bit of a rebel, I would say, Jen. I think that I've never really, even if I've tried to follow the rules, I really can't, if I'm honest. If I see a better, easier, clearer route, I'm probably going to speak up. I'm going to speak up about it, which has landed me in trouble quite a lot. So, and that's how I ended up running my own company, because I could always see a quicker way of doing something that was better and cheaper. Well, of course, if you work for a big company, nobody wants you to do things cheaper and faster. They want you, if you're a consultant, immersed in the client's business for as long as possible. So that didn't really rub well with my employers. Actually, did it? So, but it set me up for success, which is good, because and then I could have that really good blended life, because my life is so well balanced. I actually passionate about animals and rescuing animals, and all my animal rescues. And you know that I do Reiki healing and massaging on animals for free. This is something that I've just always wanted to do, and I've just managed to purchase the property and land now to take in more animals and do that. So it's really important that whatever I do, it balances nicely with, or it affords me the time to spend with animals, you know.
Amazing. So let's unpack that. I really like that. The fact that you're not just self-centered, you think about other things and other people. It's like you have this sensitivity towards the people and the things around you, not just humans, but animals as well. That's amazing. So I would help me to explore your mindset as an entrepreneur. What kind of power tools do you have inside that sets you apart from the pack?
Oh gosh, well, I say like a lot of women who want to do their own business, or, you know, I actually started in a time where business and construction wasn't doing particularly well. But it's my determination, you know, my tenacity. I know that I persevere, and I always say perseverance pays off, whatever it is, always. And I'll always have a go. And I'm very good at recognizing opportunities, even if they don't always come to fruition. I'm still very good at recognizing the next thing. So I pay attention to that now. So if I get a gut feeling about a different industry or service or notion, I pay attention to my thoughts and feelings, because in the past I've gone, oh, I thought of that and never said anything about it. And, oh, I've always believed that but didn't want to sort of do anything about it. So I really do pay attention. So my business absolutely flexes and adapts to all the changes, to recessions, to the privately financed initiative reign that took over for many years, so where people needed lots of consultants at one point to build airports, schools, hospitals. I was very much in the thick of that, the privately financed initiatives, and it was great for my business. And then there was a recession, so what do you do then, so, and I'd already opened up in Dubai at that point, so I had to learn what we were doing out there.
Yeah, let me stop you there. Let me interrupt you there. I would like to dig deeper into that. Let's unpack that a little bit more. So you're the type of person that you're not afraid to, you say you're always learning and you're always looking around and reading and learning stuff. Can you just dive deeper into that and tell me, what is it? Do you read books? Do you self-counsel? Do you have a mentor? How does that come about?
Well, a little bit of everything, really. I'm a lazy reader, Jen. I'm really, well, you all know from my guest editorials, I just do as few words as possible. But I think people are like me and get bored, so I think, right, let's make this quick and fun and easy. But all of us in the company in Livewire, we actually appoint coaches to each other. So we look after each other. So, all of my team have coached me over a year and vice versa. So we all take it in turns. And then when we've had sort of everybody in the company, we go outside the company, because I think it's really important that what it is that you need as your life changes, and that you're following your dream and your passion, and that's sitting really nicely with what you're doing at work. So there's that bit taken care of. So having mentors and coaches, and we do it free for other people as well. So I always pick a female every year. I pick a female outside of the team. It could be with anyone that I know, and then I'll work with them for a year for free to do that, of course. So, and then I'm with this pandemic and the lockdown and everything, I had to learn all about technology, which I hate. I've always been terrified, right? Yeah, terrified. But look at it now.
How to look in the mirror in the camera. I still can't figure that one out. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So here we are, so many years later, 20 years later, since you started Livewire. I'd like to take you back to a younger self, the 20-year younger self. When you established Livewire. First and foremost, I'd like to know why Livewire, how you came up with that brand Soul Essence, and how and at what point did you get that gut feeling that you knew that you just had to do that?
Yeah, that takes me right back into corporate life, the trappings of corporate life. Although I was employed as a consultant in the city of London, I was always called back in to do the training. And that's from my hostess days. I used a lot of my stewardess training in all this corporate stuff, which is very interesting, right? Yeah. I was always doing that. And I get a big appreciation for it. I'm very excited about doing that. But I'd be flung onto other projects. But I just knew, like I said to you, I could do them differently. And it just didn't sit with me. And I was so fed up and I wasn't getting excited. And having a flat and booper and a car was all very nice, but it didn't sit with me. What I wanted was time and want to be passionate about my job. And I read this book and I thoroughly recommend it to everybody because it's only this thin. It'll be up there on my pile up there. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Dr. Susan Jeffers. It's bloody brilliant. And she has little exercises in it. And I went to the end of this book and there was nowhere for me to go other than jump. And I had no job to go to. I knew I wanted a business. It was just called Lamoon Business Solutions then.
Oh, okay.
Because people knew my name, right? People knew my name. So I had to establish, and my first client, well, my employers became my client. They were like, oh, well, we need you to carry on doing the training.
Right.
Like and then my first client became the Walt Disney Company because I'd been a consultant to them through my employer for many years. And then they had called back and said, oh, we need Audra to complete phase 2 of a project. Yeah. And my old employer said, oh, she's gone. She set up her own training company. Well, there was no conflict. So Walt Disney really became my first new client.
Amazing. So did you actually get like the butterfly feeling in your stomach when you first started? How do you know when for the sake of our viewers, how would they know, for instance, a 20-year-old right now watching this and listening to you, how would they get that aha moment, that feeling in their stomach to know to step out and start their own business? Is there such a thing, or is it just a natural feeling?
I think all through reading the book and the times leading up to that, you have thoughts and feelings and fears. But like I said to you, now I learn to pay attention to that. So if I was to give myself advice now for 20 years ago, I would say, listen, the minute you got that feeling, start working on it. Start working back from where you want to be. So I always knew I wanted my own consultancy, but I didn't know what in. So work back from it. And yes, I did. I remember I sat on my desk and there was nothing they could do. I talked about leaving and they offered me more money, and nothing would have made me happy. I would still be miserable. And money wasn't a motivator. So know what your motivation is, work back from what you want to do and pay attention to those feelings. Because I remember sitting there looking at a photograph thinking, I'm done. I don't care if I don't get a client for the first month or so. I cannot be here. I am not in my genius zone. I'm not working to the best capacity. I'm certainly not doing these people any good. I need to be happy. And it was like that. And I just did my resignation and that was it. And I was so happy and so relieved. So happy, so relieved.
Let's rewind on that. There's a common theme, a common thread with all the women that I'm sitting down to have this conversation with. And you're so wired in such a way that the common thread and the common word that's coming through is miserable. You don't stay in a job that makes you miserable. So that's becoming a very common word. Is there a reason? Can you unpack the word miserable? What defines feeling of misery?
Yeah, it sits on your shoulders. You know, when you're just dreaming for the weekend and it's only Monday. When you're, I was miserable commuting. I had a lovely flat in Putney. It still took me a blinking hour to get to work. It was ridiculous, and then an hour to get back. My days were long. I wasn't empowered or motivated. Even if I was empowered, I certainly wasn't motivated to do anything because nobody was listening to the way I wanted to do things. And that's okay. They were paying me to deliver consultancy in their way. But I just had this burning ambition to do it my way. I just saw a clearer way of doing stuff. And I was not happy. I mean, miserable is the opposite, happy. And when you dread going into work and you look forward to all the time off and looking for reasons not to go in. You just can't be in a position like that. And I know people have commitments, but I gave it all up and I won far bigger than I ever thought I could lose. And I think that intention is everything. Great believer in positive thinking. I said to you before, in my office for years, I had this my script written on the wall. I am the decider of my own destiny.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that, and along with perseverance pays off, and those two have been my sort of personal mantras the whole way through, really.
So to hone in onto that thought of, so hence your title of Chief Happiness Officer, which I love, by the way, and I sometimes get wrong and call you a managing director. What separates you from being a managing director and a Chief Happiness Officer? That's a part one of my question. Part two of my question is being intentional. How does one become intentional in what they need to achieve?
Okay, so I'll start with that one first because it's quite dear to my heart. But I learned how to be intentional through meditation, and for the last few years doing Reiki healing and meditation and massage really focuses you. So I apply that logic to my work business. So if you go and ask me to go and treat a horse right now, I would actually go and take myself off for 20 minutes and prepare myself first. Clear down the deck. So I don't want anything interfering with my time with that horse. So I'm totally dedicated and can pick up stuff and what have you. I apply the same to the business. If I know I've got to do a bid or a call or this or that, clear down everything. Be really present and mindful with that person or that team or that project, that piece of information you've got to do. Read and that helps. That That really helps. What was
That's
the first
hair-raising
question?
stuff. That's hair-raising stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Audra. The second one, obviously, is why the title from instead of managing director, Chief Happiness.
Yeah, it was interesting because I just didn't want all that hierarchical piece nonsense. I just didn't like that. And so I just asked people, right, we're all in our genius, we've all been brought together, we're all in our genius zone. So what is it that you want to bring? What is it that you do? What is it you want to be known for? So we all have a bit of a chit chat about what's what. And so I've got a chief people pleaser, which I love. So Scott's my chief people pleaser.
Wow.
Because he's so good at wanting everyone to be happy. It's not in a weak way at all. It's just such a brilliant quality to have, because if you need
position of strength, you're
going to get, and that's the person I bring in to G up the troops. So with all this unpleasantness that's going on, he is amazing with diversity and inclusion, and he is the best person to wheel in, and he makes me feel great every time I've had a conversation with him. So that became his title. And we've got the nerd, the IT nerd, who just finds it hilarious that we call him the IT nerd, and people like that. So we define people by their skills, qualities, what it is they do, rather than just this is my position in the company.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Audra, for unpacking that. The final question, obviously, as a thought leader, which is how we see you, because you've got the experience, you share your experiences, your career progression and insights and all that with other people. And what is it in your two chests that people can take away from this conversation that you can impart on other people that are looking to start their own business or to pursue their careers, so per se?
I would say, stop sabotaging yourself and go and fulfill your dream. Don't wait, just do it. And if it fails, so what? Most successful people fail, but they learn from their lessons and their mistakes. So I just think that now is the time. In a crisis, I always find it's the best time to do so. I set my business up in a crisis. I've been through 2 recessions, a pandemic, and and God knows what. But I just think, feel the fear and do it anyway. As Susan Jeffers said, the best words ever, and just do it whatever makes you happy.
This is amazing. Thank you so much. It looks like another term has come up of just do it. Previous interview that I had, somebody mentioned that, and I jokingly said, I hope we're not promoting Nike here.
Nike.
Just do it. I love it. Thank you so much, Audra. It's been awesome having you on this broadcast today. And I look forward to having you again in our next series of Wired Women. You're such a wired woman. You're so inspirational. And thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, welcome, and back at you, Jen. You're lovely. I'm so glad we connected. It's been great.
Thank you. Have a good day now. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.